The story opens with Alexander Stone, a 50-year-old self-made billionaire and CEO of one of the most successful medical equipment companies in the world. Alexander has built his fortune from the ground up, navigating the cutthroat world of business with relentless determination and sharp intellect. His empire spans continents, and he is a key player in the medical field, holding a reputation for being a no-nonsense, competitive businessman. Alexander's life is a whirlwind of meetings, press conferences, and deals, with little room for personal connections. He is constantly surrounded by wealth, luxury, and high-profile individuals, yet there is a hollow emptiness in his life. His relationships, while numerous, are superficial, with most people gravitating toward him because of his money and power rather than his character. Though he enjoys the trappings of success, private jets, lavish mansions, expensive vacations, Alexander feels more isolated than ever. Despite his achievements, he has yet to find someone who truly understands him, someone who loves him not for his bank account, but for the person he is. Over the years, his rivalry with Gregory Blake, the CEO of a competing medical equipment company, has become one of the most defining aspects of his life. Their ongoing feud has shaped Alexander's worldview, and he sees Gregory as both a professional adversary and a personal enemy. Alexander is resolute in maintaining his dominance in the industry, but deep down, he longs for something real, an authentic connection that goes beyond his wealth and status. While on a business trip, Alexander finds himself in a terrible car accident. The crash leaves him severely injured, and his life hangs in the balance. He is rushed to the hospital, his injuries so extensive that his survival is uncertain. As the medical team battles to stabilize him, an unexpected figure enters his life. Emily Williams, a compassionate and skilled nurse who takes charge of his treatment. Emily is calm under pressure, and her quick thinking ensures that Alexander's life is saved. She works tirelessly throughout the night, keeping him stable and monitoring his condition. Despite the severity of his injuries, Emily's skill and determination are a major factor in Alexander's survival. During the critical hours following his surgery, Alexander is deeply moved by the care and attention Emily gives him. He feels a connection with her that he hasn't experienced in years. Emily's demeanor is unlike the people in his usual circle. She isn't interested in his wealth or status. She's simply doing her job with passion and compassion. Alexander's gratitude for her dedication and kindness quickly turns into admiration, and he finds himself eager to know more about her. As Emily helps him navigate the recovery process, Alexander begins to see her as more than just the nurse who saved his life. He is drawn to her warmth, intelligence, and the quiet strength she exudes. As Alexander's recovery continues, he makes a habit of visiting Emily, not just for medical checkups, but to engage with her on a more personal level. These visits become the highlight of his days, offering him a rare glimpse into a life beyond wealth and business. Emily is professional, but she begins to open up to Alexander during their conversations, revealing her background, her dreams, and her passion for helping others. She talks about her love for medicine and her desire to make a difference in the lives of people who often go unnoticed in the fast-paced world of healthcare. As their relationship grows, Alexander finds himself captivated by Emily's selflessness and sincerity. She challenges his preconceived notions of what is important in life. Unlike the women he has dated in the past, who were often drawn to him for his money or influence, Emily isn't interested in his wealth. She sees him for who he truly is, vulnerable, honest, and looking for more than just business deals and financial success. Alexander, for the first time in a long while, feels like he's being truly seen. He starts to look forward to his visits with Emily and begins to recognize that the emotional connection they share is deeper than anything he has ever experienced. Emily, on the other hand, feels conflicted, as her growing affection for Alexander is complicated by the stark differences in their worlds. Despite their different backgrounds, they find common ground in their conversations and shared values. As their bond continues to develop, Emily opens up more about her personal life. One evening, after a long conversation, Emily shares that her father is Gregory Blake, Alexander's longtime rival and the CEO of a competing medical company. She explains that she has always tried to distance herself from her father's business dealings, preferring to carve out her own path in the world of healthcare. Alexander is stunned by the revelation. His immediate reaction is one of disbelief and confusion. The woman he has grown to admire and care for deeply is the daughter of the man he has spent years trying to outmaneuver in the business world. The discovery creates an emotional conflict within him. He feels torn between his growing feelings for Emily and the long-standing animosity he has with her father. For Alexander, this news forces him to confront his rivalry with Gregory Blake in an entirely new light. The fact that the woman he has fallen for is directly connected to his greatest business adversary forces him to question the boundaries he has set in his personal and professional life. He wonders if his feelings for Emily can coexist with his long-standing hatred for her father, and he begins to grapple with whether he can move forward with their relationship. Emily, meanwhile, remains unaware of the depth of Alexander's internal struggle. She's simply trying to navigate her feelings for a man she respects and cares about, while also trying to reconcile her relationship with her father. The discovery of Emily's connection to Gregory Blake places Alexander in a moral and emotional dilemma. His love for Emily is undeniable, but his loyalty to his company and his deep resentment toward Gregory complicate his feelings. He finds himself questioning whether he can continue the relationship, knowing that Emily is tied to the very man who has always been his rival. Alexander has spent years battling Gregory, not just in business, but in a deeply personal way. The idea of being involved with Gregory's daughter feels like a betrayal to everything he has worked for, and he begins to wonder if his personal feelings will jeopardize his business success. Emily, sensing the distance growing between them, begins to worry that she has done something to push Alexander away. She tries to understand his behavior, but Alexander remains evasive, too conflicted to share his internal struggle with her. As the tension between them builds, Alexander becomes consumed with guilt and doubt. He feels trapped between his loyalty to his company, his long-standing rivalry with Gregory, and his genuine affection for Emily. The love he feels for her is at odds with his pride and the need to protect his business interests. This internal conflict leaves Alexander isolated, unable to see a clear path forward. As the internal conflict deepens, the strain on Alexander and Emily's relationship becomes more evident. Alexander begins to withdraw from Emily emotionally, and she notices the change in his behavior. He becomes distant and avoids spending time with her, his earlier affection replaced by a coldness that confuses and hurts her. Emily, who had grown to trust Alexander, feels a growing sense of insecurity and doubts about their future together. She wonders if his feelings were never as deep as hers, or if something has changed within him. Despite her confusion, Emily continues to care for Alexander, but she can't help but feel that there is something he's not telling her. She senses that he's keeping a secret, and this only increases her frustration. The communication between them breaks down, and their once strong bond begins to unravel. Emily tries to confront him on several occasions, but Alexander remains evasive, telling her he's simply stressed or overwhelmed by work. The deeper truth remains hidden, and Emily grows increasingly frustrated with the lack of transparency. Meanwhile, Alexander's mind is consumed by the secret he's keeping from her. He knows that his emotional withdrawal is damaging their relationship, but he feels powerless to resolve the situation. Every time he looks at Emily, he is reminded of the rift that has opened up between them, and it becomes harder for him to navigate the emotional turmoil he is experiencing. Unable to carry the weight of his secret any longer, Alexander finally decides to confront Emily. He invites her to dinner, where, after some initial awkwardness, he finally opens up about his feelings and the emotional conflict he's been battling. He admits that his love for her is real, but he is deeply conflicted because of her father's role in his life. Alexander reveals the extent of his rivalry with Gregory Blake and how it has been the defining aspect of his career. He tells Emily that, despite his feelings for her, he's unsure how to reconcile their relationship with his long-standing animosity toward her father. Emily listens in stunned silence as Alexander reveals the truth. Hurt and confused, she responds with a mixture of sadness and frustration. She tells him that she never wanted to be caught in the middle of their feud and that her loyalty has always been to him, not her father. She admits that she has always been torn between the man she loves and the man who has raised her, but she insists that she's never wanted their rivalry to dictate her life or relationships. Emily expresses that she needs Alexander to trust her, to believe that she can stand apart from her father's business world. The conversation is emotionally charged, and both Alexander and Emily leave it feeling conflicted. They both realize that they still love each other, but the question remains whether they can move past the obstacles in their way. Emily leaves the dinner with tears in her eyes, unsure of how to proceed, and Alexander is left with the painful realization that his pride and hatred for Gregory have been the things keeping him from fully embracing his love for Emily. As the story unfolds, it becomes apparent that Gregory Blake has been aware of the relationship between Alexander and Emily from the beginning. Gregory has always seen their rivalry as a battle for dominance, and the idea that his daughter is involved with Alexander has only fueled his animosity. Gregory, in an attempt to manipulate the situation to his advantage, begins to pressure Emily. He tells her that her relationship with Alexander will ruin her career and family reputation, trying to convince her that she can never truly be happy if she chooses to remain with him. Gregory also subtly attempts to undermine Alexander's position, using his influence to sow distrust between the two companies. Emily, torn between the man she loves and the father who raised her, becomes caught in the crossfire of this renewed corporate warfare. She begins to question whether it's even possible to have both love and success, or if she will always be forced to choose between the two. Gregory's actions put immense strain on Emily, who feels emotionally manipulated and unsure of how to navigate the toxic environment her father is creating. The tension builds as Emily's inner conflict intensifies. She feels like a pawn in a battle that she never wanted to be a part of, and it becomes clear that Gregory's interference is complicating matters. Her love for Alexander is genuine, but the pressure from her father makes her question if they can truly build a future together. In a decisive effort to prove his commitment to Emily and challenge the toxicity that has clouded their relationship, Alexander reaches a pivotal moment in his journey of self-discovery and love. After months of internal conflict and battling with the lingering rivalry between him and Gregory, Alexander decides to take a bold and irrevocable step to claim his love for Emily. At a high-profile charity gala, an event attended by influential business leaders and industry magnates from both sides of the corporate divide, Alexander makes a dramatic move. Surrounded by the very people who have been a part of the fierce competition between him and Gregory, he publicly declares his love for Emily. In front of a sea of cameras and colleagues, Alexander speaks from the heart, acknowledging his deep feelings for Emily, not as the daughter of his rival, but as the extraordinary woman who has transformed his life. With passion and sincerity, he professes his love, courageously putting his heart on display for the world to see. This act of vulnerability is not only a moment of personal revelation for Alexander, but a courageous defiance of the corporate world's obsession with power, rivalry, and wealth. The announcement sends shockwaves through the room. Emily, who has been caught off guard by this public gesture, is both moved and overwhelmed. The air between them is thick with emotion as she struggles to process the enormity of Alexander's declaration. For her, it signifies that Alexander is no longer a man ruled by business interests or pride. He is now a man who has chosen love over the status quo, a man who has broken free from the corporate games and the world that kept them apart. Gregory, however, is far from pleased. As soon as he realizes what Alexander has done, his anger erupts in a furious outburst. He feels betrayed and humiliated, both by Alexander's public announcement and by the way his daughter's relationship with his greatest competitor has been revealed to the world. Gregory's frustration and jealousy are palpable as he tries to suppress his emotions, but it's clear that his grip on control is slipping. His disapproval only serves to underscore the magnitude of Alexander's actions and the personal sacrifice he has made to stand up for what he believes in. For Emily, Alexander's declaration is a watershed moment. It not only proves the depth of his feelings for her, but also confirms her own belief in the possibility of true love. She has always feared that her professional life and her father's influence would force her to choose between love and career. But Alexander's gesture reassures her that love does not have to come with compromises. It can coexist with personal growth and professional ambition. In that moment, Emily realizes that she does not need to be torn between her two worlds. Instead, she can forge a path that integrates both. And this new, more hopeful future begins with Alexander's public declaration of love. For Alexander, the declaration marks a turning point in his personal and professional life. He feels a profound sense of liberation as he opens himself up to the possibility of a life that is not dictated by the pressures of corporate rivalry. In that moment, he chooses Emily over everything else: his company, his reputation, and the battle with Gregory that has defined much of his life. By taking a stand, Alexander shows his willingness to prioritize love, happiness, and authenticity above the competitive forces that have long driven him. This moment is transformative for both Alexander and Emily. It serves as the foundation of a renewed commitment to each other, allowing them to finally break free from the weight of family expectations, business politics, and rivalry. The declaration signals a fresh start for their relationship, and it becomes the beginning of a new chapter, one where they can build a future together, grounded in love, respect, and the willingness to support each other through the challenges ahead. With the truth now out in the open, Alexander and Emily are ready to navigate the complexities of their relationship without the weight of secrecy or fear. This public confession is not just a moment of vulnerability, it is a declaration of their intention to live life on their terms. They no longer need to hide or pretend. The future is theirs to shape, and they are determined to build it together, free from the constraints of the past and the expectations of those around them. The turning point has arrived, and with it comes the hope of a brighter, more genuine future for Alexander and Emily. They are no longer bound by the walls that once separated them. Their love is no longer a quiet secret. It is a bold and beautiful truth that has the power to change everything. After Alexander's courageous public declaration of love, Emily finally feels liberated from the heavy burden her father, Gregory, had placed upon her. She recognizes the weight of her father's expectations and realizes that she no longer has to choose between her love for Alexander and her loyalty to her father's business. Alexander's bold move gives Emily the clarity she needs to break free from the constant manipulation and pressure. She sees her life and her relationship with Alexander in an entirely new light, where she is no longer a pawn in a business rivalry, but a woman with the agency to shape her own future. The couple embarks on a journey of rediscovery, working to rebuild their relationship from the ground up. They navigate the complexities of their professional lives, including the challenges of managing the lingering tension with Gregory. Despite the obstacles that still lie ahead, Emily no longer feels trapped by the corporate dynamics that had once controlled her. She embraces a new sense of independence, realizing that she doesn't have to live in her father's shadow. She decides to carve out her own career path, free from Gregory's influence, with Alexander's full support. This newfound sense of autonomy enables Emily to explore her potential beyond what she had ever imagined. For the first time, she understands that she can have it all: true love, career success, and personal fulfillment, without having to compromise on any of it. She becomes empowered by the choices she makes, and her journey reflects her growth as an individual. She no longer feels as if she is defined by her family's expectations, but by her own dreams and desires. Alexander, steadfast in his commitment to Emily, stands by her side through every step of her journey. He not only supports her, but encourages her to take ownership of her career and personal life. His unwavering belief in her abilities strengthens their bond, and the couple works together to address the lingering issues with Gregory. Rather than allowing the rivalry to dictate their future, they focus on resolving the conflict with respect and professionalism, ensuring that it doesn't interfere with their relationship or their aspirations. Their shared vision for the future becomes the bedrock of their partnership. They are no longer bound by the constraints of family rivalries or business politics. Instead, they envision a future where their love, mutual respect, and dedication to one another are the guiding forces. They focus on innovation, not only in their professional lives, but also in their personal growth. Together, they aim to redefine success, not as a product of competition or dominance, but as a result of collaboration, mutual support, and a deep, lasting connection. In this new chapter of their lives, Emily and Alexander find balance and harmony. Their relationship evolves into something stronger than ever, grounded in the belief that they can achieve their goals, both individually and together, without compromising their love or values. They look toward the future with optimism and determination, ready to face whatever challenges come their way, knowing that together they can overcome anything. Their partnership symbolizes the power of love, trust, and mutual respect, proving that by choosing each other and their shared vision, They can create a life that surpasses anything they could have imagined apart. The story reaches its powerful conclusion with Alexander and Emily creating a life together that surpasses all the challenges they have faced. Through their struggles, they forge a new future, one where love and professional success seamlessly intertwine. At the core of their journey is a mutual respect for each other, a shared vision, and a commitment to building something that lasts far beyond their past obstacles. Their partnership is now rooted in trust, understanding, and a deep emotional connection that allows them to overcome even the most difficult circumstances. Together, they embark on a joint business venture focused on making meaningful advancements in the medical field. Their combined expertise, Emily's knowledge of healthcare and Alexander's business acumen, forms the perfect foundation for a groundbreaking company that doesn't just aim for financial success, but seeks to create positive, lasting change in the world. This new chapter not only represents their personal success, but also the fulfillment of their dream to have a significant impact on others, especially those who need it most. Their relationship evolves beyond the superficial, and they discover that true love isn't about power, competition, or the corporate rivalry that once consumed them. Instead, it's about partnership, growth, and the strength they find in each other. They realize that overcoming obstacles together, whether personal or professional, has strengthened their bond, deepened their love, and given them a newfound sense of purpose. It's through this unwavering partnership that they've found their true happiness, and they become living proof that love can bloom even in the most trying of circumstances. Choosing each other over the legacy of rivalry, Alexander and Emily break free from the confines of their past, building a future that reflects their shared values. Their decision to leave behind the competitive world and embrace each other's differences sets the stage for their new life. As they navigate their careers and personal lives, they prove that the most valuable achievements are the ones that come from understanding, support, and collaboration. In their new life together, Alexander and Emily leave behind a lasting legacy, not only through their successful business venture, but also in the love they've cultivated. They create a partnership that defies expectations, showing the world that true happiness and lasting success are about finding harmony between personal desires, professional goals, and the relationships we build. Their journey proves that love is not a commodity to be fought over, but a force that, when nurtured with care and dedication, can break down barriers and create something far greater than the sum of its parts. Through their unity, they inspire others to value collaboration over competition, empathy over ego, and love over rivalry.